In this video, I'm going to show you 10 different stitches that you can use to practice your embroidery while making this cute Easter egg. First, we will outline our egg using a chain stitch. Bring the needle up from the back of the fabric and place back down in the same hole you came up from. Pull the thread just enough to form a loop. Next, bring your needle up a stitch length away through the loop. Pull until the thread lays flat. Bring the needle back down in the same hole, forming another loop. Once you bring the needle back up through the loop and pull the thread, we will form the next link in the chain. Continue this process till you make it all the way around the egg. To finish the chain stitch, pull your final loop, then tuck the needle under the two strands that formed your first. Pull through and then bring the needle down in the middle of the previous loop. For the satin stitch, we will begin by bringing the needle up through the fabric at the tip of the petal. Next, create a straight stitch and bring the needle back down at the base of the petal. The next stitch will be at the tip again, right next to the first stitch. Because the petal is curved, each stitch will be a little further from the tip than the last. Continue until the petal is completely filled. Generally, a satin stitch is a series of straight stitches to fill the shape of your pattern. To create a stem stitch, bring the needle up from the back of the fabric and back down one stitch length away. Before pulling the thread tight, move the loose thread to the side and bring the needle back up in between where the needle came up and where it went back down. Then pull the thread tight. Create the next stitch by bringing the needle down again one stitch length away. Again, move the loose thread to the side and bring the needle back up between the two stitches. Pull tight and continue till you reach the end. For the pinwheel stitch, bring the needle up from the back of the fabric at the end of one of the spokes. Then back down at the center of the circle, creating a straight stitch. Repeat until each spoke has a stitch. Next, bring the needle up from the back, just off from the center of the circle. Then follow this process of bringing the needle over a spoke, then under, then over, then under again. This creates a rose-like texture. Continue this process until the spokes are covered and the rose is full. Then tuck the needle under the thread, pulling it back down to tie off. Next, we will do a French knot. First, bring the needle up from the back of the fabric. Wrap the thread around the end of the needle. The more you wrap, the bigger the knot. For this video, we will wrap the needle twice. Then bring the needle back through the same hole or very close to it, to the back of the fabric. If needed, pull the thread tight to make sure your knot is also tight. To do a leaf stitch, bring the needle up from the back of the fabric at the tip of the leaf. Create a straight stitch, bringing the needle down in the middle of the leaf. This pattern includes a line to help guide your stitches. Next, bring the needle up just to the side and down from the previous stitch, while still on the pattern line. Bring the needle to the center of the leaf, very close to where the previous stitch came down on the line. Repeat this process on the other side of the original stitch. As you continue, each straight stitch will follow the edge of the leaf and down the middle line until the stitches get shorter and the leaf is full. Next, we will do the lazy daisy stitch. To start, bring the needle up near the base of one of the petals, then right back down in the same hole or close to it. Before pulling the thread completely through, bring the needle back up at the tip of the petal. The needle will come back up through the loop from the previous stitch. Then pull the thread till the loop catches. Then bring the needle back down just on the other side of the loop. Repeat this process for each petal. If your thread gets caught, gently use the needle to pull the stitches back in place. To finish off this flower, we'll do a French knot in the center of the petals. A running stitch makes a dotted line pattern. First, make a straight stitch. Then, skipping a space, bring the needle back up from the back of the fabric. Then create another straight stitch. Continue skipping a space between each straight stitch until you reach the end of the line. Like the running stitch, the back stitch is a series of straight stitches, but this time without spaces. After the first straight stitch, bring the needle back up from the back of the fabric with a space between. Bring the needle back to the end of the first stitch to close the space. Continue for each length between the flowers. For this pattern, we will use a combination of the stem stitch and the leaf stitch. Start by stitching the stem the same way we did above. Once you get to the end of the stem, bring the needle back up to the tip of the top leaf. Using the leaf stitch, create a series of straight stitches. Because of the size of the leaves, you may only get about 3 to 5 stitches to fill the leaf. For this flower, we will use the Lazy Daisy stitch, as was shown below, but this time we will go around the entire flower instead of just half. Then finish off with a French knot. A whipped back stitch has 2 parts. First, create a series of back stitches going the entire length of the line. Then we will turn and go back, this time by looping the needle through each stitch we created. Make sure your needle goes through each stitch on the same side each time. This adds a cord-like texture to your stitch. Continue until you reach the end of the line. With our stitching complete, it's time to remove the fabric and wash off the soluble stabilizer. Run warm water directly over the stitching and gently rub until the stabilizer is completely dissolved.